Breaking news now. Russia says Putin and Xi will meet in Beijing this coming October. Nikolai Patrushev, the secretary of Russia's Security Council, was quoted by Interfax on Tuesday as saying that Russian President Vladimir Putin will travel to Beijing in October to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping. At a meeting in Moscow with China's top diplomat, Wang Yi, Patrushev said, "In October, we look forward to thorough bilateral talks between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing." According to Patrushev, Putin will attend a forum in Beijing dedicated to discussing China's Belt and Road Initiative. Italian opposition leader Giorgia Meloni celebrated the closure of EU naval mission, Sophia, 3 years ago, following the successful rescue of 45,000 migrants in the central Mediterranean. She wants to reinstate it now that she is prime minister. Instead of focusing on saving lives at sea, as she has in the past, she is now demanding that European Union ships block migrant departures from North Africa, which experts in migration and international law say is impossible. Meloni has changed course because the landings on the island of Lampedusa have undermined the right-wing government's election promises to halt sea arrivals from North Africa. The island in Italy received over 10,000 migrants last week, despite having a permanent population of only 6,000. Lampedusa is a small island in the Mediterranean between the larger Italian island of Sicily and the neighboring island of Tunisia. Meloni said in a television interview on Sunday, hours after visiting Lampedusa with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, that the Sophia mission, is exactly the proposal he intends to bring to the next European Council when they talk about immigration. Meloni and other right-wing politicians opposed Operation Sophia, for the same reason they opposed previous EU and Italian naval missions. They believed it encouraged migrants to sail to Europe, often on flimsy boats, in the expectation that they would be rescued. Her plan to redeploy the ships to impede departures has been criticized as illegal and impractical. Trying to put together a naval blockade would be an illegal, unthinkable act of war. That would have devastating effects, said Ferruccio Pastore, head of the International and European Forum for Research on Immigration, FIERI. Pastore said, alluding to a precedent involving Italy and Albania, that pushing back boats would violate international asylum rules and the European Convention on Human Rights and would also be operationally dangerous. The Italian Navy ship collided with a migrant boat in 1997 while enforcing a naval blockade that Rome and Tirana had agreed upon to stop migration across the Adriatic Sea. 81 people lost their lives in the shipwreck. Conflict within the EU. The question of what to do with rescued migrants would arise again if Sophia were brought back to life. The program ended in 2020 because other EU countries refused Italy's requests to redistribute them. I don't think European solidarity, which means, let's share the burden, is going to work until after the European Parliament elections in May, Pastore said, referring to the rise of partisanship in the run-up to the elections. There have been hints of this in the past few weeks, with France and Austria increasing border controls to stop migrants from entering their countries from Italy. A senior German official told Reuters on condition of anonymity that Rome is continuing to violate the Dublin Accord from the 1990s meant to ensure asylum seekers do not leave the EU country of first arrival. Italy claims it is unable to adhere to Dublin regulations due to an influx of newcomers. When asked about Meloni's plan for a naval blockade in Lampedusa, von der Leyen only said she was in favor of exploring options to expand existing naval missions in the Mediterranean or to work on new ones. She proposed a 10-point action plan that mainly consisted of a promise to expedite an EU-Tunisia deal aimed at curbing migration that is not yet operational and an offer of more assistance for Italy using existing EU policy tools. Italy has suggested a naval blockade, which would require the agreement of North African states but has received no public response from other EU member states. Diplomatic sources in Brussels, however, say that Germany is opposed to the plan.